Onederfully and wonderfully made. Yes, I am. A picture of your beauty and grace. A beautiful masterpiece molded in your love. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderfully made. Your works are breathtaking. Wonderfully made. Wonderfully made. Your works are beautiful. Wonderfully made. I'm wonderfully made. Your works are so beautiful. Wonderfully made. Wonderfully made.
Hello. I don't think that show did it. It didn't share. Well, guess what? I'm Carol Chisholm, and I'm your host for Wonderfully Made. And we're getting ready to share my. I'm getting ready to share my screen with you. Okay. I want to give a special tribute to a very dear friend of ours. So hold on just a minute. I do not own the rights to that song. It is a song by Walter Hawkins. And so we do want to dedicate this show to Ilyasha Hood. She lost her battle to breast cancer, and this being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we do want to show our support and our love for everyone, women and men, who are battling with breast cancer. And so our guest tonight is a breast cancer warrior, a breast cancer survivor. And so, again, I'm Carol Chisholm, your host for Wonderfully Made. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And my job, my desire is to inspire you to be courageous and to just have confidence in who you are and what you uh, that whatever you're going through, it doesn't define who you are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And so we want to go on and introduce our guest for tonight, because if you have questions, of course, we want you to put them in the chat, and she will answer questions for you tonight. And she's going to share her story with you. So our guest tonight is Dr. Christie Russell. She is a Chicago-based fashion lifestyle blogger, a higher education professional, and women's health advocate. Dr. Russell is a mom of 2 girls and married to Dr. Eric Russell. Dr. C, as she is so affectionately called, is a recent survivor of stage 3 metastatic breast cancer and is the founder of Lola's House. Lola's House is a newly formed nonprofit organization dedicated to championing, that's a hard word to say, and empowering women, especially survivors of breast cancer. Dr. C is an ordained minister and is using her talents and gifts to encourage all who follow her um, about the goodness of the Lord. So I want you to welcome with me tonight Dr. Christiana Russell, Dr. C. How
Hello.
are you
I
tonight?
am wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored and privileged to be here, to be one of your guests. We've known each other for such a long time, but I feel like I am like being interviewed by Oprah or somebody. So I'm super excited.
Well, maybe one day I'll have that status. So that
Yes, we're going to claim it by faith.
that renown. So yeah. Well, it's so good to see you, and I'm so
You
glad
too.
that you
You too.
joined us tonight. You have been a very dear friend of mine for years, and such an inspiration, even before you went through your battle with breast cancer. You were always an inspiration to others. Myself, older women, younger women, didn't matter. You were just that inspiration. And so we're so glad that you joined us. And I know I shared your bio with our listeners, but just tell us a little bit more about yourself, your hobbies, your what you like to do in your free time, your family.
Sure. I'm actually the oldest of four. My parents are from Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. So I'm Nigerian by birth, but all of us were born in the United States. So first generation Nigerian Americans here in the US. Education was so important to my parents. Basically, it was God first, then education. Anything else you wanted to do was extra, but you had to have God, and you had to go to school. So that was part of my upbringing. So as a result of that, I was that student. I was that kid in school. So culminating in 4 degrees, three from the Ohio State University, one from Georgia State University. Just have always loved learning and loved school and education. And I knew early on that I wanted to kind of be in the arena of education. I loved educating people and I loved learning, how education really helps. And it's more than just going to school. And, part of my work for many years in our nonprofit world that we both came from was pushing education and the
Right.
importance of it. So, to that end, my husband is also a PhD, Dr. Eric Russell, and we have two daughters, Heaven and Faith. Heaven is now at 21 and she's a grad student here at University of Chicago. So we're super proud of her. And then Faith is 13. She's a high school student, ninth grader at Kenwood Academy here in Chicago. So we just recently moved to Chicago from Nashville. We wanted to kind of come back up north after being in the South for quite some time. And Nashville is kind of like north southy, but still very much Southern. But once had finished at Vanderbilt, and my contract had ended at Vanderbilt, we just felt it was time for a new chapter. And it was a time for us to kind of we just wanted a start over. So many things had happened. Nashville was also where Elder Eric had his aneurysm. It was where I had my breast cancer. So
It
the
is.
Nashville had a lot, for us, good and bad, but we just felt it was we just needed a new start. We wanted to dig new wells and just kind of take this next stage in our lives and be somewhere and do something different. And so much had happened to change us. So that is where we ended up here in Chicago, Illinois, as of July. So we've been here since July. Absolutely love it. I am very much a all weather girl. Everyone's like, "You're gonna freeze." I'm like, "Bring it on." I love it. I If you
Hey,
see behind me, I have all the coats. I am ready. I love cold weather. I don't
you lived in Ohio for so long, so
Yeah,
you're
so
used to it. So
I love all the seasons. So absolutely love being here in Chicago.
Well, you
Um,
did get there just in time for the cold weather, so
it's been amazing. I absolutely love it. I love it. Now I may change my tune once that first real snow hits, like they said, January, February, but
Whew.
right now we love it. We love it. So we're just so excited about this new phase and new season that the Lord has brought us to, which is due largely in part to my diagnosis in 2019.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll just kind of segue into that. So anyone who knows me knows that I'm just like a workaholic. So I've always worked in higher education, at the time working at Vanderbilt University in the athletics department. Had my blog. I've always been into fashion and clothes and putting outfits together and just loved inspiring women. To me, clothes is more than just putting something on, but it was just an expression of me, an expression of yourself, and just an expression of just so much. So I've just
Right.
always loved clothes and fashion and started my blog and did things in the community and just busy. So I was tired all the time. I used to joke, my husband and I, we used to have a saying that said sleep was overrated because we were just like, what's sleep? Like we're just like sleep. Exactly, Antonio. Like sleep is overrated. We're like, we don't have time for sleep. We can do it. We can do it all and run on no sleep. So I was always tired. But in 2019, I just my body it felt a different type of tired. Hi,
Mm.
Minister Crystal. Sorry, I'm gonna try not to get distracted saying hi to
That's
everybody.
okay. That's my sister. She joins me every week. So she
Okay. Hi, Sister Shirley. So 2019, my tiredness, it felt different. And
Mm.
I knew I was stressed out, overwhelmed. There just so much was going on in our lives, personally, professionally at work, personally, and just other areas of our lives. It was just overwhelming, and it was just a lot. And I felt a different type of tired.
Mhm.
And I do my monthly examinations, as you know, just regularly as we should, partly because my mom also had breast cancer.
Okay.
So after, kind of going through with my mom and her battle with breast cancer, I just became more aware in terms of doing my monthly exams and just kind of making a point to be intentional about being in tune with my body and just kind of listening to my body. And I kind of felt something under my left arm probably early in the spring of 2019. But of course, like most of us are, I was busy. It'll go
Mm.
away, blah, 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 blah. Kind of progressed into the summer. It wasn't going away. It was getting bigger.
Mm.
And I was just like, this is not
Do
going away.
something. Right.
Yeah, I just kind of knew something was not right. So I made my appointment. And our athletics teams, blessings. Hi, Sister Peggy. Our athletics teams, of course, October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we always did a lot just as the football team and athletics department at Vanderbilt University. So I was like, well, I mean, I got to be a good sport and schedule my mammogram. I can at least schedule it in October because I had made several appointments, cancel them, was too busy, too busy, too
Right.
busy. And I was like, okay, it's October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Let me not be ridiculous and go and see my gynecologist. So I went and had my mammogram. And the minute she felt it, she said, I don't like how this feels, Christy.
Ah.
She said, I'm going to recommend you get a biopsy. She said, I don't like how this feels. So my heart just kind of, that feeling, my heart started to flutter real fast in the room, but still I was just like, it's a biopsy. I'm not going to try to get worried about it just yet. So I was trying to put it off and I was like, well, can I schedule it? I'm super busy at work. We're getting ready to go on the holidays. I was like, after the beginning of the year, we will schedule this biopsy. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna be a good girl, do everything. She was just like, yeah, you're going for the biopsy next week.
But knowing that your family history,
Right, right,
your
right.
mother had breast cancer,
I still
like
did
it didn't alarm you, like
because it wasn't hereditary. My mom she did the BRCA testing, she did the
so
genetic
hers was
testing, she did
okay.
because she said, I have two daughters. So for me and my sister, she said, I'm going to do this. So it wasn't hereditary. So, I mean, while I kind of felt something wasn't right, I still didn't think it was breast cancer because I was like, my mom's wasn't hereditary. What
Right.
are the chances of two women in the same family both having breast cancer and it not being
Yes.
hereditary?
Hmm.
Right.
And you
So,
were just doing breast exams. You
yeah,
hadn't
I
started with mammograms or anything like that, had
no,
you?
no, I was just doing,
Okay.
breast exams. So she scheduled me for the biopsy, and I told my husband, I said, let's just keep this between us. I'm just gonna go for the biopsy and see. But this time I had gone for the biopsy kind of like late October. By maybe like the second week in November, I got the phone call and she said, I need to see you in the office. And I was just like, oh Lord, this is not good. I just kind of already knew when
Yeah.
they call you to see you in the office and can't tell you over the phone what the results are. I I
It's
just
serious.
I
Yeah.
just knew it was serious. And she called me to the office and I didn't even tell my husband. I said, she needs to see me again in the office. I didn't tell him they were giving me the results of the biopsy. I just said she needs to see me again because I didn't want him freaking out. And I just was like, I don't know why I made the decision just to kind of deal with that solo, but that
Right.
was just how I needed to process it. So I went in and my doctor, she's sweet as pie, but very direct. She's just like, it came back positive for cancer. She said it was malignant. She said, and not only is it malignant, she said, but it seems to be a very aggressive type. She said,
Oh,
we won't know more until we do further testing. She said, but we've got to address this right away. And even still, as she's talking, it's like the Charlie Brown.
yeah.
So, womp, womp, I'm sitting there and I'm like calm as a cucumber and I'm just listening to her. I'm listening to her. It was like I was hearing her, but really wasn't hearing her. Like
Hmm.
it still it didn't register. It didn't click. And she said, are you okay? Do you need me to call and do you need to do anything? And I just said, no. She said, yeah, we're going to make the appointments. You need to meet with an oncologist, blah, 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 da, 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 like all these hosted doctors. She was just saying all this stuff, all this information. And I think I was numb. As I
Hmm.
think back
Right.
on it now, the shock of what she just told me, I was numb. And it just didn't seem real. And it's a good thing, like at Vanderbilt, we have this app called My Vanderbilt Help. So she put all my appointments there because I promise you, I didn't write anything down. I just walked
You're
out.
in a daze.
I was in a daze. Like
Yeah.
I was numb. And I got in the car and I went to work because I went to the appointment from work. I went back to work, finished out my day, got home. I didn't say anything. He said, how was the appointment? I said, oh, they're just still checking some things. It just took me probably about another week to like process it and just keep. And then I got the note, and I've never really told anybody like how it happened. I got the notification on my phone to remind me of my appointments with all those doctors because some weird way I had kind of just blocked it out. I was going about my week. I was
Oh,
working,
wow.
doing everything. I was busy. I literally had forgotten about it.
Kind of
Well, I
like you
got
were in denial about it.
yeah, and like until I got the notifications on my phone, your appointment, it was like in 2 days. And then I just broke down and just started crying.
Oh,
And then I told my husband, I said, I have something to tell you. I said, it's cancer. I said, and they I said, apparently a pretty aggressive form of cancer. And I mean, we just sat there and just hugged each other. And I bawled like a baby because I was like, and he had so many questions. I was like, I don't have any answers. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to the doctor's appointment. He said, well, do you want me to go with you? I said, no. I said, I just I need to deal with this by myself. He said, you don't have to. I said, but I want to.
hmm.
So I went to my first appointment by myself to talk to the oncologist, the surgical oncologist. I mean, it was just like 6 or 7 different doctors. They give you like 18 because I had to meet with, there was the radiation specialist, the oncologist, there was the chemo doctors. I mean, just all these different doctors for me to talk to. And I remember I had read somewhere that if you're going to a doctor's appointment and you're getting like information, especially if it's bad news, you should record it because you kind of spaced out. So I
Right.
did at
Right.
least record it. I recorded it. I said, do you guys mind if I record this so my husband can hear everything, which I'm glad I did because it was just so much information, so
Mhm.
overwhelming. They gave
Right.
me like this big packet, they gave me all this stuff, and we're like, okay, well, we're going to schedule you for a chemo port, like, right after Thanksgiving. I'm like, wait, what? It just, everything happened so fast. And my head was literally spinning. So told my husband, told my girls, and just kind of, he said, well, what do you want? Like, how, like, he said, knowing you, he said, how do you want to tell people? I said, yeah, I'm going to tell people. I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to share my story and share my journey. I was like, I'm not going to go through this by myself. I
Yes.
think, and it was just kind of like at that moment where, I was doing more crying than praying, but in the times I was praying, I was like, Lord, I didn't have much to say. I was like, Lord, I need your help. Like, I need
Yeah.
you to help me. And the Spirit just kind of brought it to my mind, like, how, what have you always done in the face of challenges? How have you always overcome all your life?
Mhm.
And I just had to remember. And the Spirit said, the Lord has been with you through all of those. He's going to be with you through this one. But how are you going to handle it? He said, think about all your other challenges. Think about everything else you've gone through in your life. And that's kind of what perked me up and said, you know what? I just have to tackle this head on like I've done everything else in my life and not let it beat me.
You're right.
I mean, it was scary, Antonio. I mean, it was just, I was just like, me? I was just like, wait, I'm Dr. Christie. I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, this doesn't happen to me. Even though my mom had breast cancer, I was just like, she's way old. My mom is just turned 73. So I was just like, and she's been a survivor for like 13 years. So she was 60 when she got diagnosed. So I was just
And
like,
you weren't even close.
what? Excuse me, hello. It's not yet time for me to go through that because she was older. So I just, it took it. So I had to just really just kind of get my mind together, get myself to, and ask the Lord to help me. And I said, I'm going to use my platform to kind of share this because that was what I was thinking. I was like, I know so many people. I'm not about to sit here and call everyone I know. Like, how do I call everybody? How do I
Right.
tell everybody what how? And the Spirit said, use your blog, use your platform, tell the people that way, and right now become a champion.
Yeah.
Don't wait till it's over, but become an advocate and become a survivor now. So it kind of, the Lord just kind of helped me to be in survival mode then.
Hmm.
And that's what I did. I just kind of shifted and was like, okay, I'm going into survival mode. What is going to help me survive? And I think, and one of the questions you had asked me was, what was one of the most difficult parts? Chemo, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. It just, for lack of a better word, it sucks. It
Right.
just, I mean, it's awful. Not only does it kill the cancer cells, but it kills everything. Everyone knows about the hair loss, but no one understands that it hurts when your hair
Mhm.
falls out. Your hair follicles literally are tingling. You had
Really?
like tingles and it's the nerves, and literally the chemo is killing the nerve cells that make your hair grow. So for some women are just like, I can't do wigs, I can't do none of that, it hurts that bad. Mine was moderate, but it hurt. So it wasn't that, of course it would wake up and have a handful of your hair on your hand, but it would hurt. And I had cut my hair short. I had gotten just a cute little tapered cut before going into chemo because I was just like, I'm gonna be strong. Chemo ain't cancer ain't taking my hair. I'm just gonna show cancer what's up. Like I'm the boss. I'm controlling cancer. Cancer's not controlling me. I cut my hair. Yeah, nobody told me about how bad it would still hurt.
That I didn't know. Like my guest 2 weeks ago said that we only think that chemo kills the hair on your head,
Yeah.
but you lose all hair. She lost all of it, but I didn't know. She didn't say that it hurt.
Right.
So I'm learning so much.
You lose all of it, And then especially for me on my head, like some women, they feel the tingling sensations and on their arms, legs, wherever you have hair. But for me, it was on my head, and it just
Wow.
literally hurt. And it just so had all types of heaven bless her heart, she would make or homemade oils and serums and things for just for me to
Oh,
like rub on my head and different things like that. But it hurt, and then your body hurts. There's bone pain because the chemo attacks bone marrow. So when bone
mm,
marrow is regrowing and those red blood cells are regenerating, it is painful. So the first 2 days after chemo, I was bedridden. I could not come out of bed because I had a little injector. It's called the Neulasta. You might have seen the commercials, the little Neulasta injector.
uh-huh.
It's a medication that helps your bone marrow replenish after chemo. So they attach this to you after you go to chemo. You go home. You're supposed to kind of stay in bed for a couple of days. And then after so many hours, whatever your regimen is, for some people it's 16 hours after chemo, some people it's 14. Mine was 16 hours after chemo. It would automatically inject. So it would give me a little beep. So I knew it was coming and it would inject. And oh, the pain,
Oh,
take medication to combat the pain and the tiredness and the vomiting, and you can't eat and everything tasting like metal. So I couldn't eat with regular silverware. I had to use plastic, and even if we went out to restaurants, I had to take my own plastic silverware with me because I couldn't eat with metal silverware because
oh wow.
it would either
Oh,
cause me to vomit
wow. That
or I could, yeah. So it's
so
just so many.
how long was the recovery for after you had your chemo treatment? You
Then
said you were
another,
2 days you
yeah,
were out, and then
2 days
then
I
you had
was
to come back
out.
after when?
So the mine was on a every 3 week course.
Every
So I
three
would get
weeks. Okay.
chemo, like it was always on a Wednesday. I would get chemo on a Wednesday, and through the weekend, I knew I was going to feel horrible.
Oh,
As I had to wait for I couldn't really even go or do anything until my new Neulasta. I got the shot came, and then you're just tired. You're sapped of all energy, no
mm.
strength for a week after that. Then by the time you're feeling good, it was time to come back to chemo again because it kind of
Oh,
they told
wow.
me that. They said it's really an up and down. So in one of your questions, you said what was the difficult part? The difficult part was really getting people to understand there were times where I felt great. And
Mhm,
then later that afternoon, I could feel awful. But I still
mhm.
kept trying to blah because that's what I needed to make me feel okay and to make me feel good. I didn't want to feel like a cancer patient. I didn't want to, I did. And that's one thing I just learned that from my mom. My mom taught me you never look how you feel.
And
You
you
if
did
you
not.
and
You
then just
absolutely did not.
and it's from their generation, but also in Nigeria. I mean, just my mom's just like, you don't look like how you feel. Like it didn't matter if you were, on. And I saw my mom do it. She would be sick as a dog. The next day, face fully made hair. I was just like, Mom, you were just in the hospital. Where are you going? She's just like, you. So that's how I grew up. That's how I was raised. And that was my mindset. Like, I refuse to look like, how we say you don't look like what you've been through. That
Right.
was literally, but that was my way of survival. That gave me some sort of control over all these things that I couldn't control.
Hold on, Dr. Christie. While you're saying that, I want to show Travis's or Antonio's.
Mhm.
So I want everybody to share this live. This is amazing. He says this is information that needs to be broadcast. We need to show this. People need to hear it because we don't know what people go through if you've
Right.
never been through and walked their path. And
Exactly.
so I want everybody, please, 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 like and share this tonight. And I want to share Dr. Christie. I want to go on and do it right now while she continues. I want to share her Facebook, Instagram page. And I want you to go through her pictures and see, are they still there? Because I
Mhm.
know you got hacked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Her pictures of her when she went through her journey are amazing. And like she said, she didn't look like what she was going through, and she would not allow cancer to have control over her. So I'm gonna put that up. Hold on a minute. Go ahead, Dr. Christie. Keep talking.
Okay. I mean, but I got criticized for that. A lot of people didn't understand
Uh,
it. They were like, well, we look at your pictures on Instagram. Well, she can't be going through that bad because we look and, she's all made up and looking all cute and stuff. So they used that as a way to not support me and say, they were like, oh, she's a strong. And then that was the other thing. Oh, you're a strong woman. I had people literally call me on the phone like, oh, we've been praying for you, but you're a strong woman. You're going to be all right. Came a point in time where I hated being called a strong woman. I was like, just because I'm being penalized for being strong. Just because I'm strong doesn't mean I don't need to be encouraged. Just because
right,
I'm strong doesn't mean that some days I didn't feel strong. Just because I am strong doesn't mean that some days I had a horrible day and just needed somebody just to be nice, send a nice word, just to encourage me. Like, we can't even imagine what you're going through, but it's going to be all right. So
right.
I really, then that just annoyed me and aggravated me because it's a catch-22. I said, so if I'd have been out here looking broke, busted, and disgusted, looking like what I was going through, looking how I was feeling, people would have still talked about me because they'd have been like, did you see Dr. Christie? She was out there. Oh my gosh, she really must be going
Yeah,
through.
that's true.
They would
That's
have talked about me if I looked bad, but then they also talked about me because they said, oh, well, you look so good. You can't be going through. No, we cannot penalize women for being strong. If a woman is strong, okay, she's strong, but that does not mean that she can't be encouraged. That doesn't mean she doesn't need to be uplifted. That doesn't mean that sometimes the journey gets difficult and, I mean, just extremely, that doesn't mean the burden doesn't get heavy. A strong woman just knows how to push through. And we often like, oh, you're strong, you be all right. That doesn't mean I don't need support. It doesn't mean I don't need help. That was my way of survival. I needed to be myself and feel myself in order to continue to go through this battle. Because when I looked in the mirror, I wanted to be okay with who I saw in the mirror. I didn't want to see my disease. I just wanted to see me kind of going through it and conquering it. And
yeah.
that was, and I mean, with just the overwhelming support that I received from my job. And that's another thing. A lot of people always wonder, like, do you tell your employer? Do you not tell your employer? I was just like, I'm telling everybody, this is what I'm
Oh,
going
yeah.
through. But that also had its drawbacks because then I had to kind of help people to understand because they wanted to restrict, of course, quite naturally, I had to be restricted because it was also the beginning of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to be restricted in terms of the number of people that I was around because your immune system is severely compromised.
Right.
So getting anything, even a cold, sick, headache, flu, anything like that is detrimental for somebody going through chemo or any type of treatment that compromises your immune system. So I understood that, but then there were people using it to kind of say, oh, well, we know you trying to affect my work, for lack of a better.
Mm,
And I said, no, I voluntarily disclosed this to you. Do not use as an excuse for you not to allow me to do my job.
right.
Because then you can use it as an excuse to get rid of me and say she's not doing her job.
Exactly. Exactly.
So if you are ever in a situation where you have a sickness or illness, file your disability. Because I resisted it for a while. My HR lady kept telling me, she said, file the disability. She said, it's part of your benefit package. I was just like,
Mhm.
no, they already treat me, blah. I don't want to be treated like I have a disability. I don't want to be treated special, blah, blah, blah. She was just like, no, it protects you.
Hmm.
It protects them from firing you. It protects you when you have to go to your doctor visits. It protects you. She said, you're feeling good now, but what about those days when you're not feeling good?
Right.
Using your FMLA, all the disability benefits that you have for your job, I would tell anybody, use them. And I'm so glad my HR person convinced me to use them and do it because I didn't know COVID was coming. I didn't know the university was making all the cuts and all the scale backs. I didn't know the pandemic was going to affect the world like it did. So a lot of people got laid off. A lot of people got, redistributed, for lack of a better word. And the Lord enabled me to not be touched and keep my job, keep my benefits, keep everything through all of that.
That is such a blessing. And, people, I like that you did not, that you just wanted to let everybody know, because really the more support you have,
Right, right.
and you would post those pictures of your football boys, and I'm like, she has a whole football team that's a support for her. And then they would post Dr. Christie this, I know that it had to be so encouraging just to know that there were so many people who did support, probably
Right,
more than those that were like, you're a strong woman. But
exactly.
I'm so glad that the Lord has brought you through. And so, what have you done as what's come out of all of that?
Okay.
What?
So a lot of things have come out of it. One of the things that I realized is I knew within myself that, I'm just a determined type of person. That's my personality. I don't like to let obstacles, anything that comes my way, I don't like to let it overtake me. So I've always been a fighter. I've always been a push, but I did not realize the core strength that was
Mhm.
within me to be able to say, I'm going to not only get through this, but turn it around. I never realized that about myself. And that is where the idea for Lola's house came through, because through the process, I would talk to different women at my cancer clinic and my cancer treatment. And I started to see a lot of the disparities, a lot of the disparities. We would be at the same clinic, but if our insurance was different, which a lot of times it was, the level of care we got was different.
Hmm.
The benefits, the amenities, the things that we were able to receive were different.
Mhm.
So one of the benefits that I had was a therapist. And I know in our Christian world we don't like to talk about therapy. We don't we it's like, if you just pray and if you have the Holy Ghost, you don't need therapy. I have a different opinion about that, and I think that's absolutely not true.
I
I'm
agree.
saved, filled with the Holy Ghost, and I was praying to the best of my ability, had people praying for me, but I needed to talk to someone.
I agree.
And therapy was one of the benefits of my insurance. I didn't have to pay. And my therapist and I, we met over Zoom, on my off weeks of chemo. Best thing I ever, I mean, just absolutely the best, because she helped me learn how to talk through what I was experiencing.
Mhm.
So a lot of the things I learned about myself, she pointed out to me. So I'll give you an example. One of the things I learned from about myself through this was that yes, therapy is helpful and it's necessary. Was that I don't really like to ask for help. So I mentioned a situation to her, and so she helped me talk through, like, well, why is that upsetting for you?
Mhm.
And so once we talked through that, she said, you don't really like to ask for help. She said, when you're in the midst of doing something, someone coming up to me and saying, hey, if you need any help hanging on those clothes, let me know. And I'm sitting here hanging clothes, and I'm like, don't you have eyes and can't you see that the clothes need to be hung up? And I have 500 clothes piled up and 500 hangers, and it's just me. If I need, of course I
Of
need help.
course you
So
need
in
help.
my mind, I'm like, you can't see that I need help. So I will say, no, thank you, I'm good. But be upset once they've left and say no. And that is what I did in the youth conference for years, Elder Chisholm.
Mm.
That was what was happening to me. I'm like, y'all see is 50 boxes of t-shirts and whatnot. Why are you asking me if you need any help? Of course I need help. She said, you need to understand that they want to help you. She said, but you're the type of person that you want people to see that you need help and jump in and
You
do.
just do it because that's what you would do.
That's what I would do. I wouldn't be like, oh, if you need help, let me know. And when people would, call me to try and encourage me, well, if you need anything, let me know. Well, sometimes I didn't know what I needed. And
Mm.
sometimes it's difficult to put it into words. So that was another area that I realized sometimes when people are going through things, they don't always know how to articulate what they need. So when you say, if you need anything, let me know, they probably won't because they don't always know how to articulate
How,
what they
right.
need. So people would say that to me, and I'm just like, oh, okay, thank you, but I'm not gonna call you and be like, it's 2 a.m. I'm throwing up.
Yeah,
You know.
good. Yeah.
But what was helpful was that the moms of the team got together. So every week I had chemo. Elder Eric and Faithy had food. They would call a meal delivery service. All he would have to do is go pick it up, or the food would be delivered to the house. They would have groceries, somebody come to clean different things. I
Wow,
mean,
that was wonderful. That,
those were, I was just like, oh my God, these are they kind of just stepped in and was said, this woman is going through chemo and cancer. Food, she's got a family. She's not going to be trying to cook. She's not going to be trying to clean. She's not going to
right.
be trying to do this. She's not going to be trying to do that. And from that, I learned, I was just like, we need to, I understand better how to help people, or I understand how to encourage people to help people through that. So in starting Lola's house, I wanted to be able to give back and do a work to where I could help in this process of the disparity. It's a huge disparity between women who have good health insurance and women who don't. And that is my logo, the fabulous green
Yes,
stiletto heels. Yes, I mean that's me. Anybody who looks at that, like, that's just me. It's
that's you. That's so
empowering.
you.
Green's my favorite color. Like, that is me.
That
So,
is so you. Yes, it is.
so I'll just talk about Lola's house. So the name Lola's house comes from my one of my Nigerian names. As the oldest of my family, I have so many Nigerian names, and Lola is one of them. So it's also part of the girl's middle Nigerian name. So three of us combined are Lola, and Lola's house. And the Yoruba term for Lola means forever. So I want this to forever be a house, a refuge, a way that people can be supported, educated, and women can be empowered. And I want to quite naturally support any women who are going through breast cancer of any type. Mine was metastatic, but breast cancer of any type. But then also we want to educate everybody. Just there are so many things that people don't know and understand about breast cancer. Every breast
Mhm.
cancer is different. Everybody goes through it differently. But then also the huge disparities depending on the type of insurance, the disparities between Black women and white women. For example, Black women are 40 times more likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer than white women. 40 times,
40 times?
yes. And they are 40% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women. Black women are also more likely to be diagnosed with more aggressive forms of breast cancer. And we're also more likely to be diagnosed at later stages.
Now, do they know why this disparity exists?
The disparity
Is
in
it
the healthcare. That's
healthcare?
a big factor because mammograms are considered a preventative thing. Or,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to do it unless you have reason. So that's one of the reasons why education is important. If you know your family history, you can advocate. And we've been talking about, more and more. And since I started my journey and shared my journey, I can't tell you how many younger women under the age of 40, under the age of 30,
Yeah.
that were like, you know what, I went and got checked out. I mean, friends of mine who were like, because of you, I felt this for a while. I went and got it checked out. Priya is one. She was like,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
based on me, we had a conversation. I was like, Priya, go get it checked out. And she went and got it checked out.
And that's what I'm finding too, Dr. Christie, is that breast cancer in my mind when I was younger was an older woman's
Older
disease.
woman thing. Exactly.
Now it seems like the diagnoses are becoming younger and younger and younger. And so
Mhm.
how do we combat that? Like, that's what I was going to ask you about Lola's house. I know that you are um, you're partnering with a bra company.
Yes. So we're partnering with Wacol, which is a worldwide bra company, but also we are a partner with the Susan G. Komen Foundation. So one of the projects that I'm working on with them is to address this disparity, because so as a the pandemic, we're still feeling the effects of the pandemic, and especially in healthcare, because like I said, mammograms, things like that, most insurance consider them to be preventative care. But if you
Mhm.
know your family history, you can request them to do it and they will pay for it based on your family history. But the other thing is that in a lot of the lower socioeconomic communities, the insurance is just like, we're not paying for a mammogram. That's a preventative issue. And even with family history, you have to advocate very, very strongly. So one of the things they're trying to do is make having a mammogram just a basic part of your healthcare, those preventative measures, those
Mm.
screenings, because it is one of those diseases where it's the most survivable type of cancer. Like if you were to be diagnosed with a cancer, breast cancer is the most survivable type, because the earlier they detect it, the better. And even though mine was, I mean, I was pretty far into there, stage 3, almost borderlining stage 4 if I had waited a little longer.
Wow.
So the stages are based on the size. And then also if they go into the lymph nodes. So mine was stage 3 and rapidly aggressive because it had already gone into my lymph nodes. Next stage was bloodstream and organs. If you're in
Mm.
stage 4, it has already gotten into your bloodstream and it's already attacking your other organs. So that's how the stages work. So one of the things the Susan G. Komen Foundation is trying to do is work with these insurance companies and really advocate for screenings to be a basic part, and to do, free screenings in neighborhoods and communities. But not only that, but also a part that I'm specifically adding for Lola's house is that I also think that every woman should have the right to feel beautiful. One of the things they gave me in the packet that they gave me was, information, the hair loss information. And they said, oh, these are the list of the free clinics in Nashville that you can go and get a wig. So I went to one of these free clinics and I walked out so offended and upset. I mean, because there was nothing for me. There were wigs there, but they were
Mm.
for white women. They I was like, I mean, I even told the lady, I said, do you have anything for African American women? And she said, I am so ashamed. She said, unfortunately, we don't.
Hmm.
She said, you are absolutely right. I said, we are living in a time of diversity and inclusivity, and you don't have something to service all of the women who may come through your doors. And they say, when you see a need, when you see a void, jump on it. So part of my packet, they gave me a cranial prosthesis prescription. I never knew that you could have a prescription for a wig. They wrote it for me, but I couldn't use it there. And I called all the other clinics. I just asked them straight out. I said, "Do you have hair that is nice for an African American woman?" And they all told me no. So I went online and started reaching out to wig companies. And the first company to respond to my email was RPG Show. And I told them about my breast cancer diagnosis. I said, I have a prescription. My insurance will cover 80%. I said, can you give me one at a discount? I need a good one. I've got these head sores, da 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 da. They were the ones who worked with me for me to get my first kind of natural looking, good lace, all of that kind of stuff wig that I wore. I literally wore that wig throughout every time I had chemo, slept in it. And now I'm a partner with RPG Show as
Awesome.
a result of that. But I had to pay out of pocket first and took my receipt, stapled it to the prescription, sent it into the insurance, and they sent me a check back for 80%. But I had to fight and advocate for myself to do that, because the places where they had them, they didn't have anything for me. So
Right.
that's one of my long-term goals with Lola's House, is to have Lola's House Boutique, is to where women who are going through breast cancer, because there's different stages. When I had my mastectomy, I had a prosthetic breast. So, the type of bras that were available were very limited. And again, not comfortable, not always the sizing that we needed. And insurance, a lot of the women that I talked to, their insurance didn't cover prosthetic breasts. So
Hmm.
they were being creative all types of ways on how to not look lopsided. And
Yeah.
also has physical ramifications because when you're going through chemo and going through all of that, because I was still going through chemo even after my mastectomy, it attacks your bones, your body, your muscle. And so when your weight is shifted and uneven, some of the women were developing skeletal and problems in their spine because their bodies were having to shift to accommodate for missing a breast
Right.
because their insurance wouldn't cover a prosthetic.
This
So
is just so much. This
So
is so enlightening.
those are some of the, so I mean, I have a very, very big vision for Lola's house. So we're just, and I've been telling everybody because once I announced it, I started getting requests. Women were like, I'm going through. I was just like, wait. We're in phase one. We're in phase one. We just I'm finishing up the paperwork for we just sent off the paperwork for our 501c3 actual nonprofit status. And then I've applied for 2 grants. I'm in the process of finishing to apply for a 3rd grant. So we're just in phase one, which is building the online community, letting people know about us. Once I get these grants, we're going to go into phase 2. And I want to start having events here in Chicago and local events, but then also bringing my friends like you and women that I know to Chicago because I want to begin to address some of these issues in terms of our health. And that was one of the reasons why I partnered with Wacol, so that because I now understand the importance of having a good bra that fits. Your breast health is important, and getting fitted after different changes, hormonal changes in your life is so important. And they also partner with the Susan G. Komen Foundation. So every bra that is purchased from the 24th of October to October 31st, they will give a portion to the Susan G. Komen Foundation for breast cancer research. So, but their bras are amazing. And you do the fitting right in the comfort of your own home, just because we're still in this pandemic time. And, some people aren't comfortable about it. So you
And
schedule it
so,
with a fitting, you schedule with a bra expert fitter right online.
and they can find that information or the website for that on your Instagram
Yes,
and
yes.
Facebook.
If they go to let me put Lola's house.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, put Lola's house for me. And also, if you would go ahead and put your Cash App, because or your Venmo, Zelle, listeners may want to contribute to Lola's house and make a
I can't
contribution.
yet
You can't
until
take
we
it
get.
yet?
I can't take anything yet until we get our 501c3 status, because they
Okay.
said that was one of the people that are helping me set it up. They said that is one of the biggest mistakes people make with nonprofits in terms of like the
Okay.
tax, taking the things early. So that's why I'm doing it in conjunction with receiving the grant, because once we receive the grant, once we get that 501c3 status and our account is open up, then we can take donations and we can be legit and all of that stuff. So
Gotcha.
unfortunately, I can't take anything now. The biggest thing people can do is help me spread the word, and invite people to follow along on our page. And just as we build and as we go on, I'm just really excited and really thankful that the Lord has given me this chance and this opportunity and this platform to use it, because I really, really believe in it so strongly. And from what I've learned going through mine, I want to help empower and strengthen and educate other women. I want them to feel strong. That's why the stiletto heels. I mean, every woman knows when you put on a cute pair of heels, you feel like you can
You
conquer the world.
you sure do.
A pair of shoes can change a woman's life. So said Cinderella.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
that is our motto for Lola's house. Just because I talked to so many women and met so many women who felt powerless, who felt just beaten by breast cancer, and they didn't have all the benefits, they didn't have all the things. So I want to be able to connect women to resources in the community, things that I didn't know. Now, I mean, I know now, but I didn't know before, that were resources. Like, you can get it if you go into like Victoria's Secrets or someplace and tell
Mhm.
them that you are a breast cancer survivor, you can get a discount on your bras.
Oh,
I didn't know that
good
before.
information.
Right. So
Share this, guys, so that people who are going through breast cancer will know that. So
And sometimes, depending on the store, they may ask for, verification or proof or whatever, but, because they don't want people taking advantage. But yeah, these are things that I didn't know until I went through it. And I want
right.
to make this information so that women can go to our website and find out, how do I get my insurance company to pay for a good wig and that kind of started me on my journey for now. I mean, look at this wig. Like,
It's
I
really
mean,
cute. Yeah.
like giving scalp
You
here.
you're making me
And
want to go get one.
I'm just trying to tell y'all this
You
is and my hair has gone through, and a lot of people, they always, question, well, oh, what does your hair look like underneath? Not, I keep it shaved just because I still have 3 spots that are still sore. And my hair decided that, oh, I like my eyebrows and eyelashes grew back, hair other places grew back. On my head, it was just like, over here it was nice and curly. I was like, look at my curl pattern. Over here it was just like, nah, we not feeling that. In the back was like, they had their own mind. And I was just like, you know what? Until we all come into the unity of the faith, we're just gonna keep wigging it. Like, I just was
That's
like,
hilarious.
my hair had its own mind, because some people, their hair grows back just beautiful and
Uh-huh.
it's a different
Uh-huh.
texture and all of that. And I was waiting for my beautiful texture moment. Yeah, it didn't happen.
Didn't
So
happen. It
yeah,
didn't
no,
happen.
it didn't happen for me.
Well, look, this is Pastor Bo says beautiful testimonies. And so
Pastor Chaz.
we have been just totally and thoroughly educated, made aware, and even blessed tonight. And so I thank you so much for coming. And I do want to share some things with everybody. Want to make sure that you go to Dr. Christie's social media pages, because she's an influencer. And if you want to see some good fashion and have some good inspiration on what to wear and how to put clothes together, OMG, follow Dr. Christie, and she will put some popping colors on that will make you think. In my mind, I'm thinking, now I would have never put those colors together like that. But
Right?
when you see her page, you're like, that is so cute. So I want you all to go to her social media pages and check her out. Peggy says true. Check her out. Oh my gosh, you will be so inspired. And are there any questions? Because I want
Yeah,
to post
right,
something
right.
that my sister put up. Let me
Okay.
let me get this stuff together here and take off everything, because I do want us to end in prayer.
Yes.
Uh, Give me a minute. There we go. All right. This is from my sister Shirley. She had cancer in 2013. She had retired. And she didn't.
So,
I'm just reading this and knowing this, Miss Shirley. We'll talk.
in my right breast.
So it's like they found something in the right breast now.
No
And
cancer in
so,
any family member.
yeah.
And that and Shirley, we're gonna pray for you, Sister Shirley. We're gonna pray for you at the end. But that is, I don't know what's going on in society right now with this just increase of cancer
Mhm,
and breast cancer,
mhm.
especially in women, because I had the genetic testing done. And I told you guys earlier, my mom did as well. It's not genetic. She didn't pass it on to me because I have 2 daughters as well. I wanted to make sure I wasn't passing anything on to them. Not genetic. You know what it was? Environmental stress. They said, this is how your body responds to stress. Thus, that was a turning point. And I had a long conversation with my mom about it, because that was the source of hers as well.
The stress.
And I said, okay,
Huh.
got it. I don't need any other. It was like God had, it was just like when God gave Moses the 10 Commandments. He dropped that, and I said, Lord, I said, if you will be my help, I'm not going to let anybody, anything stress me out to the point where my body responds like that ever again. Like, no, no. Was I praying, speaking in tongues? Yes. But I was still allowing stress, being tired, not knowing when to say no, saying yes when I really wanted to say no.
And just being overworked. And you are
over
a worker.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I was just, no, that was the light bulb moment, the aha moment for me. And basically, when I say I live in a, if you stress me out, like I just did a TikTok where I was like, I'll get amnesia and act like I don't know you. I will, because it's life or death for me, because my body does not respond well to it. My
Wow.
body does not respond well to it. So I just don't. They say it's in the water, it's in our food. I don't, and I have changed my diet. I will put that little plug in there. We have changed my diet. I don't buy any meats or anything with hormone. Everything I buy is hormone free, non-GMO. You know, I was just like, it's coming from somewhere.
It's coming from somewhere because it's just, and like I said, we're younger and younger
Yeah,
and younger women are being diagnosed with breast cancer.
yeah,
And it's
and
like, that's
and it
unheard of.
it
So,
petrifies me for my daughters. So
mhm,
it's just like it
absolutely.
cost a little more, but yes, I am one of those cute little moms in Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. I would be like, yes, I'm buying that expensive, little chicken that's like $20. But I was just like, mm-mm.
Hey, so is that all? Did you do any vegan meals or anything like that? Or
Um,
you just,
we were for a time period where it was cute and it was fun, but then we kind of fell off the wagon. We were doing meatless Mondays.
uh-huh.
And just doing like vegetables and different things. And my husband and girls were just such good sports. But then through the move and all of that, we kind of fell off that wagon. So, but we're gonna go back. Like after the holidays, we're gonna try to go back to our meatless
Right.
Mondays. I don't know that we can, even though I've eaten so many things. There's a lot of restaurants here in Chicago that these vegan people make this food like taste amazing.
Amazing.
I mean, and that's been the thing. People are like,
Mhm.
eating vegan is nasty. No, it's come a lot, like
It's good. Hmm.
really, really good food, really good food. So we did, I have made the effort and point to change my diet a little bit.
Good. Well, even with vegetables, we have to be careful with the pesticides that's on the vegetables. So, um, it's a change in lifestyle, eating,
Yeah.
exercise, so that we can stay stress free or limit the stress as
Limit the
much as
stress, cut
possible.
people off, keep it pushing, saints and friends. Do not
All
let
right.
my last piece of advice, do not let people stress you out.
There you go. You guys heard it, right? You heard it right
Do
here on
not
Wonderfully Made. Her last word, don't let people
people
stress you
stress
out.
you out. Don't let people in cheap seats have an expensive view of your life.
Oh, I like that.
It's
I like that.
too much. It's too much.
That was good. Ooh. Does anyone have any questions? You can put them in the chat. If not, oh, Dr. Christie, did you have anything else you wanted to share before we
Um,
pray?
no, I think that's it. I just really want to encourage, and especially Sister Shirley, you go to the doctor, don't be afraid, and listen to what they have to say. And we're going to be praying for you, and we'll keep you in prayer here too. We have Bible study on Wednesdays and Sundays. We'll definitely keep you in prayer. The Lord is able, but even if it's not, and then I've started telling people this because we always, as believers, are like, you got to believe the Lord, you got to trust the Lord. Yes, but then you also kind of have to be prepared for what if it's not the expected answer that you're
Right,
looking for.
right.
Got to help and encourage people through that.
Exactly. I
So.
agree. Well, if there are no questions, then we are going to close with prayer. And Dr. Christie is going to lead us in prayer tonight.
All right. Amen. Heavenly Father, we come before you in the name of your Son, Jesus. Lord, we want to thank you for your goodness, your mercy, and your grace. And
Yes.
Father, I thank you for my precious sister and Elder Carol Chisholm. Lord, I thank you for this platform, this ministry that you have given her. And Lord, I just thank you for all that you have done in her life. Lord, I thank you that your grace and your goodness and your mercy has given her the strength and the voice to be able to share with others. Lord, I thank you for everyone that joined on this live this evening. Lord, I thank you for my sister Shirley. And Lord, I ask you to go with her and to be her bulwark and to be her strength and to be her strong tower. Lord, as she has upcoming doctor's appointments and things she has to face, Lord, I ask you to strengthen her by your mighty power. Strengthen everyone who has listened to us tonight. Lord, give them the mind and the heart to continue steadfast and strong in their faith in you, that no matter what life brings our way, no matter what circumstances come in our lives, that we have been fearfully and wonderfully made, and that you are our God and we are your people. And Lord, you have never failed us yet. And Father, I thank you for this space. I thank you for this time and this opportunity. And we vow to give you all the praise, glory, and honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You're still muted, Elder Chisholm.
I am just so muted. Thank you.
I was trying to type it fast.
I gotta love technology, right? Yes, this was really good. So I do thank you so much for agreeing to come
Thank you for
and sharing your
having me.
story and being such an inspiration to all of us. Again, we appreciate it. Here's another love and appreciate you both. This has been priceless because
Love you, Crystal. Thank you so much for joining.
I learned a lot. I've learned a lot during the Breast Cancer Awareness Month that I had guests on, things that I didn't even realize,
Yeah.
but I am praying for each person who has struggled, has survived, and is going through currently, and just want to be a help to them. So I thank you. Thank you for starting Lola's house, and thank you, everybody, for being with us tonight and
Thank you all
joining us
so
for
much.
Wonderfully Made. So I do want to end our show. It's being dedicated tonight to a dear friend, Ilyasha Hood, who lost her battle with breast cancer. And we're talking about younger women. She was 28 years old, 24 when she was diagnosed with cancer, with breast cancer. And so as we leave, I'm going to just post her picture and dedicate this to her. So thank you so much, and God
Thank
bless
you.
you. God bless you, Dr. Christie.
You
Thank you for
too.
joining.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everybody.